presence, you're going to be more valuable because you're going to be rare. And that alone will help you connect more to your customers and help you sell more, and help them give you more referrals. Because you're going to feel your presence and feel more connected. So thank you again for practicing. So 2 reasons to go after goals. The reason you have a goal is important. The goal is necessary. So don't get me twisted. I'm not saying the number goal is not important. It is important because the number goal gives you the destination to go after. It's these 2 fundamental reasons. First reason, self-actualization. Self-actualization. What does that mean? That means you become more of who you actually are. You go after goals and push yourself and challenge yourself. And you go beyond what you thought you were possible, what you thought you were capable of. When you do that, you become more of who you actually are. First reason. By the way, you never really truly discover who you actually are unless you push yourself. The brain is always going to look for the easiest way out. That's why we have goals, number 1. Second reason we have goals is because lifestyle creation. Self-actualization, number 1, and lifestyle creation. Lifestyle creation. What does that mean? That means you get to create the lifestyle that you actually want to live. You guys agree, most people are not living the lifestyle they want to live. One fundamental reason for that is because they don't create goals. They don't create a goal, and they don't create a plan to execute that plan. That is why they're not living the lifestyle they want to live. Because when you go after a goal, you are training yourself how to create a plan that gets you that goal, which then trains you how to create a plan that gets you the lifestyle you want to live. You guys understand that? And most people never do that. A 1953 study done in Yale found that only 3% of the Yale graduates wrote down their goals. Only 3% of Yale graduates wrote down their goals. Several decades later, they found that 3% made more money, reported more happiness, and better relationships than the other 97% combined. The reason why is because they focused on goals, and they committed to those goals, and in the process of that commitment, they became more of who they actually needed to be to create more of the lifestyle they wanted to live. Good? Yeah. That's the real reason we're going after this goal, because the push is a microcosm for life. You learn how to go after this push goal, you learn how to dedicate yourself to do what you need to do, become who you need to become, to achieve what you want to achieve. That is going to train you how to do it for the rest of your life. And most people never do. And because they don't have goals, they don't have growth. Write that down. No goals, no growth. Otherwise, you don't even know what you're growing to. How are we going to hit our goals? I got a short story here. Some of you heard this story, but again, it should be even more relevant because you're never in the same river twice. You're always in different flowing waters. Everyone in this room is a very different place, even when they were a few weeks ago. So, again, Tony Robbins, who's a lot of this content I'm learning from, he trains some of the most high-level professionals in all of the world, in all the industries of the world. People like Hugh Jackman, Leonardo DiCaprio, Usher, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela. Bill Clinton called him the night before he got impeached. He said, "What do I do?" He said, "You should have called me sooner." Right? So Tony's had a lot of impact on many of the most successful people who have ever lived behind the scenes. Well, because of this, Tony got a call from the Marines, from a general. And the general says, "Tony, we hear you do great content. We want you to come speak to our Marines." Tony goes, "General, I'd love to, man, but I can't. I'm fully booked. There's just no way I can make it right now." The general goes, "Tony, we don't take no for an answer. What does it take for you to come out here and speak to the Marines? What's your speaking fee?" Tony goes, "My speaking fee is $75,000 for a 45-minute message. Yet I'd gladly deliver it for free because I want to get back to my country." "Sorry, it's just going to have to be next year, sir." "Tony, we don't take no for an answer. I heard you fly helicopters, is that correct?" "Yes, sir, I've got my piloting license for helicopters." The general goes, "Okay, great. What if we arrange for you to come fly an Apache helicopter and blow shit up for a day?" Tony's like, "Oh, wow, my schedule just cleared up." So he goes and delivers a great message. And at the end of the message, the general is sitting with Tony in his private quarters. And he says to Tony, he goes, "I don't get it, Tony. Why is it that the people in the Marine Corps, why is it that these Marines, when they're here with us, they're the best of the best? They're the most elite professionals, the best soldiers on the planet. Why is it that when they're here, they're the best of the best? When they go back home, lot of them don't stay the best anymore. A lot of them get into drugs and addictions. A lot of them go home and they become homeless. Why? Why is that? When he got to thinking, he goes, no, maybe it's because people's lives are a reflection of the expectations of their peers. Maybe, just maybe, it's because people's lives are a reflection of the expectations of their peers. People's lives are a reflection of the expectations of their peers. The general goes, wow, that makes a lot of sense. That's pretty good. Tony goes, yeah, I know, I need to write that shit down. I never said that before. So what really is going to determine whether or not you hit your goals, what really is going to determine whether or not you're going to self-actualize into more who you actually are, what's really going to determine if you're going to create your lifestyle, you're going to create the push that you want, and for the rest of your life, if you're going to create the lifestyle you want, what really determines that are your standards. Are your standards. You see, we don't get what we want, we don't get what we hope for, we don't get what would be nice and preferred. We get what we tolerate of ourselves. We get our standards. What are your standards? Who are you and what's life about? How do you do it? The reason why this matters, this is also maybe worth writing down. Every human being has the same two greatest fears. Every human being, no matter how awesome or great or accomplished, God bless you, no matter how awesome or great, every human being, me, you, Kathy, your managers, LeBron James, doesn't matter. Every human being has two greatest fears. Number one, what if I'm not enough? What if I'm not enough? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not smart enough? What if I'm not funny enough? What if I'm not good-looking enough? What if I'm not friendly enough? What if I'm not a high enough performer? What if I'm not a good enough rep or a good enough manager? What if I'm not a good enough brother, sister, daughter, husband, wife? What if I'm not enough? Whether you admit it or not, everyone can relate to that. Because I know it's your greatest fear, unless you're not human. You do a really good job of covering it up. Second greatest fear of all human beings. Second greatest fear of all human beings. And by the way, I used to be someone that prided myself on my ability to take mental notes. Maybe you're some of those people too. But no matter how good of a mental note taker you are, you will always, always recall 30% more of what you write down, even if you never look at the notes again. I'm going to encourage you to maybe jot some of this stuff down if you aren't already. Good. Good. Second greatest fear, if I'm not enough, I won't be loved and accepted. Not enough, I won't be loved and accepted. Number one, what if I'm not enough? Number two, if I'm not enough, I won't be loved and accepted. What's number one? If I'm not enough, what's number two? Yes. And this stems from our tribal days. Our tribal days. Because way back in our tribal days, if we didn't do a good enough job to contribute to the tribe, if we didn't do a good enough job to appease the elders, well, then we are kicked out. So again, if we didn't do a good enough job to contribute to the tribe, or a good enough job to appease the elders, what happens? Kicked out into the wilderness. Usually by ourselves. And way back then, being in the wilderness by yourself usually meant what? Death. 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 This is why it's ingrained into our limbic part of our brains. This is why it's ingrained in for us to be enough, so that we can be accepted, so that we won't die. Now get this. This really starts to mess people up. Who's ever heard you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself most with? Who's heard that before? No, it's good to know. You're the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself most with. This is why. This is something I shared with the CSPs and the events team the other day when I was facilitating their training. This hit home for a lot of people who are over $1 million in sales. Maybe this might be relevant before you hit $1 million in sales. And I said, when we get around people who have lower standards, when we surround ourselves with people who have lower standards, well then we lower our standards so we can be good enough to be accepted by them. People in the bed. Thank you, Ron. When we lower our standards, when we get around people who have lower standards, we hang around people who have lower standards, we will then lower our standards just so we can be good enough to be accepted by them. Hey man, I'm sorry, I really would love to hang out with you, but I've got this push goal I'm going after, man. I really got to work hard on it. I got to get on the phones to make this happen. It's not going to happen by itself. I got to put in the work. Oh, come on, dude. You can come hang out. Come on, man. You can go sell knives later. You can go make calls later. Come on, man. Let's go to the party. Okay. I want to be loved and accepted. When we surround ourselves with people that have higher standards, what happens? When you surround yourself with people that have higher standards, you raise your standards to match theirs so you can be good enough to be accepted by them. This is one of the greatest values of Vector. I don't know about for you guys, but for me, especially early on in my Vector years, most of my friends outside of Vector had much lower standards. My friends in Vector were the ones that had higher standards. Now, it doesn't mean you excommunicate all people who you've grown up with, right? But it might mean you spend less time with them. It doesn't mean you go up to your friends and say, hey guys, I can't hang out with you anymore because Mike Lonzetta said you have low standards. You're like, who is Mike Lonzetta? Why is it that some people who are outside of the Vector have lower standards? Why is it they try to pull us down? Why is it they make fun of us? Why is it like, oh, are you going to go sell some more butt code today, Mike? That's one of my friends used to say that. He stopped laughing after a couple years. Just on him. So why do they do this? Why is it our closest friends and family members sometimes are the ones that are the least supportive? I'll tell you why. It has everything to do with the standard principle, but it goes even deeper. You see, I'm not going to have time to go into all this, but we have 6 psychological needs that drives all human behavior. Every human being is doing everything they're doing to meet one of these 6 psychological needs. Now, the 2 needs that are driving most humans' behavior is a need for certainty and a need for significance. And because these are the top 2 needs for most people, certainty and significance, because those are the top 2 needs for most people, they're constantly feeling uncertain and insignificant, aka not enough. And a 3rd need that we have is a need for love/connection. Love/connection. Really, love is that need, but we settle for connection because love is scary. Love means you have to be open and vulnerable. Love means you have to be real. Love means you have to really put yourself out there and be like, let's see if they're going to accept me. Love is scary, so we settle for connection, but we really need love. Now, the craziest, messed up part about all of this is because most people value certainty and significance even more than love, yet they still need love. You need all 6 needs. You need air, you need them. You're constantly getting them. But because most people value certainty and significance over love, they've been trained to think, I've got to be certain and significant enough that I can earn love. And because of this, when you go home and you're like, hey, what's up, man? dude, it's so cool. I'm selling some knives. It's so great. Man, I'm making so much money. Look at my paychecks. Look what I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm achieving. Firmer resin handles, double D edges. It's so great. And your friends are like, what the heck is going on? They're starting to feel very uncertain. Uncertain. What is this language he's saying? He's not speaking my language. She's not speaking my language anymore. Where's my friend going? So they start to feel uncertain. And they start to feel insignificant because you're talking about how awesome you are, how much you're growing, how you learned from this guy and learned this guy, and this changed your life, and this happened, and you made a comment check, and all this stuff. And now they're starting to feel less significant. And that means they're afraid they're going to lose your love. And that's why they're unsupportive. Because not because they're malicious or evil or wrong, just because their unconscious is telling them this is how I'm going to keep this person I care about in my life. Just think about it. They have a choice. They can have a 2-story building, and you once had a 2-story building, and then you got into vector. You started growing and learning and achieving and succeeding and hitting all these goals and making more money. Now you've got a 20-story building next to their 2-story building. Well, they have a choice now. They can either work hard, grow themselves, accomplish and achieve, and make their building as tall as yours. They can do that. Or they can put a bomb on your building, blow yours up, and bring it back down to their 2 stories. And unfortunately, which one's easier? Boom! It's a great sound. Exactly. So this is why it happens. Not because they're evil or malicious or wrong or anything. They just don't feel certain. They don't feel significant anymore, and they feel like they're losing your love/connection. So what's the antidote? The antidote is when you see them, when you're around them, make them feel significant again. Give them the certainty that you're not going anywhere. Give them the certainty that you love them and care about them, even if you're not going to be around as much. Hey, I'm working hard. I've got some big goals. I'm going after some big dreams. But you're still my bro. And, I'm not going anywhere. I just might not be around as much. I still care about you. And make the conversations more about them. What's going on in your life that's good? Show them that they're still significant to you. Show them they can be certain they're significant to you. So they can feel your love. Yes. Just phrase it as, you don't say, hey, you're feeling this way because you feel uncertain and insignificant because of what I'm achieving. You don't get into all that. But you just shower love on them. Make them feel significant again. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, as far as standards go, your standards must be high, but standards don't matter if you don't have the rituals and routines to match those standards. AKA habits, AKA practices. You can have high standards, but if your rituals, routines, habits, practices aren't aligned with that standard, you're just fooling yourself. You're just telling yourself that there's something that feels good in the moment, but you're not actually committed to. Good? Good. Another thing to make this happen. Nice. See if this sticks. Nice. All right. Can everyone see this piece of paper?
Yes.
All right. Some of you have done this before. We're going to move through this very quickly. All right. Stay focused. In fact, here, let me teach you something that I've never taught you guys. I taught this in Rocky Mountain Division. Probably be fair if I taught this in Mountain Division. Here we go. This is a way to get in the zone, into a flow state very easily. It's a Hawaiian ancient wisdom called Hapalau. All you're going to do, you're going to watch me first. Don't do it. Watch me first, then we're going to go through it together. All right? All you're going to do, pay close attention though, because if you do this even slightly off, you're not going to get the effect. You're going to pick a focal point in front of you. Okay? So just watch me do it first. You're going to pick a focal point in front of you, and you're going to stay focused on that the entire time. Okay? So you're going to pick a focal point. You're going to stay focused on it the entire time. While you're focused on that focal point the entire time, you're going to slowly lift your hands. Don't do it yet. You're going to slowly lift your hands until you can just barely see them but still see them. And just notice your hands. Notice them in your peripheral vision while staying focused on the focus point. All right, you're going to do that for a few seconds. Then I'm going to have you do it audibly. So you're going to listen just to the sounds around you while staying focused on the focus point. Notice how my eyes have not drifted. Notice how I'm staying focused on one spot the entire time. And I'm listening for the sounds around me. There's not a lot of sound in this room. That's okay. Just listen to whatever's there. After you do it audibly, you're going to do it kinesthetically, or you're going to feel. You're just going to notice what you feel while staying focused on the focus point. That never deviates. You're going to feel what's feeling around you, whether it's the clothing, whether it's your butts in the chairs, whatever you're feeling. And then you're going to do all three. You're going to bring your hands back up. You're going to do it visibly, audibly, and kinesthetically all at once. We're going to hold that for a couple seconds. That's going to put you more to a flow state, aka the learner state. It's going to open up more of your unconscious and allow you to take in more. Okay? This is the zone when you play sports, by the way, that you can access quickly. All right, ready? Here we go. Pick a focal point. It's never going to deviate. Pick a focal point that never deviates. Find your focal point. Find it. Good. Okay, now slowly take your hands up. Now you got to stay focused on the point the entire time in front of you. And you slowly bring your hands up. And just keep bringing them up. Stay focused on the point. Stay focused on the point. Stay focused on the point. Bring your hands up until you can just barely see them. Keep going back until you're just barely there. Focus on the point. Focus on the point. Focus on the point. Keep it up. Keep it up. See if your hands can go just a little bit further back while still noticing them. Focus on the point. Focus on the point. Focus on the point. Focus on the point. Not me, not anyone else. The points. Stay focused on the point. All right. Now do it audibly. What's around me? It's just the AC. Stay focused on the point. Stay focused on the point. Now do it kinesthetically. Feel what you feel all around. Feel what you feel all around. Stay focused on the point. Stay focused on the point. Feel the shirts, the blouses, dresses that you're wearing touching your skin. Feeling your butts in the chairs. Feeling the hats or glasses that are on your face or on your head. Stay focused on the point. Stay focused on the point. Stay focused on the point. Now let's do all three at the same time. Slowly bring your hands up. Go far back as you can while still noticing them. Just go to that very last point where you're still seeing them at the very last point. And do it visibly, audibly, kinesthetically all at the same time. Stay focused on the point. Stay focused on the point. Stay focused on the point. While you're doing this, take a deep breath in through the nose, out the mouth. Feel your breath. Another deep breath in through the nose. Slower out the mouth. Feeling your breath. One more deep breath in through the nose. This time when you exhale, make it like you're fogging the mirror. You're noticing. What else are you noticing? Yeah. Notice how much clearer you are right now. Notice how much you can intentionally be present and pay attention right now. Can you guys feel the difference? For some of you it's subtle, for some of you it's pretty profound. But that's a way that you can do it. That's a way that you can get into the zone. All right? You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Take another deep breath in. Out the mouth. Let's go over this. You're going to write this down very quickly. All right, you've done this before with me. Some of you have not done this before. You're going to draw 4 squares. They don't have to be very big, just big enough to write one word in them. With arrows in between going clockwise. There's going to be a little variance of this talk that you've not seen before. So pay close attention. This is the failure cycle. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Very simply, this is the essence of momentum right here. Upper left-hand box, write the word potential. Potential. What is every human being's real true potential? Unlimited. Every human being's true potential is unlimited. Are most people living their unlimited potential? No. So down here, write the word results. Results. So most people's results are not reflecting their potential. Is that correct? Potential is what we could do. Results is what we actually do. Upper right-hand box, write the word action. If you don't take the action, you're not going to tap your potential, you're not going to produce results. Pretty simple, right? Some people are not taking enough action to produce results they want. Some people are taking good action, they're not doing it good, they're not doing it the right way. They're doing the right actions, but not the right way. And that's because this box right here, belief, you can also put certainty here. So because most people don't believe, because most people don't feel certain about what they're doing, most people don't feel certain that they can do it, because most people don't feel certain they can get the results they want, and they tap less potential or more. And that causes them to do what with actions? Either less action, or if you have high builder energy, you're still going to do a lot of action, but less quality action. And then what happens to results? Lower. And then what happens from there? And you feel even less certain. Oh, geez, maybe I'm not really good at this. And then it's less potential, less action, less results, and then less certainty, less belief. Oh my gosh, maybe I lose my touch. Less potential, less action, less results. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible. And that's why for most people there's a failure cycle. Now, belief is a feeling of certainty. Very simply put, belief is a feeling of certainty. And all beliefs carry with them consequences and rewards, even the beliefs you don't know we have. We're up on, I don't know what story this is, 2nd, 3rd, 20th, whatever, but I know we're not on the 1st floor. The only reason we're up on this 2nd, 3rd, or whatever 20th floor we're on right now is because we believe this floor is going to hold us up. If we didn't believe this floor was going to hold us up, would we be in this room? No, that's a belief you probably haven't thought of unless you've been a part of my talks before, but it's a belief that's controlling you, and that's a belief that has an effect on your rewards and consequences. Okay? Now, how do we get out of this? How do we turn this around? Well, quick story about Andre Agassi. Some of you guys heard me share. Andre Agassi was #1 tennis player in the world. He was Michael Jordan of tennis, but then he fell 60th in the world. He goes to visit Tony and pays him $1 million to go out to share with you for free, or however much this conference is costing you, which I'm thinking is free, your time, whatever. All right? And so he pays him $1 million. And he's like, I don't know, Tony, I feel like I've lost my touch. I feel like I can't win anymore. What's wrong with me? I don't know if I'm ever going to play tennis again. All right? And that's because Andre had created a state associated with tennis. And that state is broken down into 3 parts. Number 1 is physiology. Physiology. Okay? There's five parts short-term to physiology. Number 1 is how you breathe. Number 2 is your posture. Number 3 is your facial expressions. Number 4 is gestures and movements. Number 5 is vocal cords. Number 1, breathing. Number 2, posture. Number 3, facial expressions. 4, gestures and movements. 5, vocal cords. That might be worth writing down because those are literally the ingredients that determine how you feel every moment of your entire life. Most of us are not conscious of this stuff. Okay? So, real quick, some of you have done this before. I'm going to ask you to play full out quickly so we can move through this quickly. There's a lot I want to cover today and we're running out of time. So, very quickly, show me what sad looks like physiologically, with your facial expressions, with your posture, with your gestures and movements. Show me what sad looks like. Show me what uncertain looks like. Uncertain and sad. Uncertain and sad. Uncertain and sad. Show me what that looks like. Show me what that looks like. Uncertain and sad. Show me what it looks like even more. Show me what it looks like even more. Uncertain and sad. 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 Show me. Show me. Show me. With your posture, with your facial expressions, with your breathing. How are you starting to feel? Wasn't this a pretty positive message so far? Why are you feeling sad? Because your body is telling you, I'm sad. That's why. Because your physiology, there's a mind-body connection most people never realize. Where are most of us spending most of our time because of technology nowadays? On our phone. And we look at our phones like this? Not unless we're taking selfies and where's down here, right? How do we look at our phones?
Down.
Down. What does that imitate? Sadness. Something to think about. Something to think about. Why am I so depressed? Why am I so sad? I don't know. Maybe you're on your phone all damn day. Show me what is exciting look like. Anticipating, awesome. Show me excited. 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 Show me some more. Show me some more. Show me more excited. Some of you guys are sad. Excited. This is sad. me excited. Show me excited. Show me excited. Show me more excited. Show me more excited. Show me more excited. How do you feel? Now, by the way, you did something most people miss, which is vocal cords. Vocal cords is part of physiology, and so when you're really, right? When you're doing that, your brain's like, yeah, I don't know why, but yeah. Could that be useful? Yes. Could that be a good energy to carry in your demos? Yes. Absolutely. All right, quickly, quietly, stand up. Quickly, quietly, stand up. Show me the Superman pose. Oh. Hands on the hips. Hands on the hips. You can do Wonder Woman, whatever you want to call it, or her, doesn't matter. Hands on the hips. Look up at a 45-degree angle. Hands on the hips, 45-degree angle. All right, and what I'd like you to do is, while looking up at a 45-degree angle, put a smirk on your face that says, I got this. All right, now hands on your hips, shoulders back, chest up, like you're Superman or Wonder Woman. Head at a 45-degree angle, like you're about to collapse and save the world. Put that smirk on the face. The smirk is important. I got this smirk. All right, not the big, goofy, excited, anticipated, eyebrows touching your hairline smile. Okay, but that, like, yeah, I got this. But that kind of smile on your face. 45-degree angle, keep looking up. Keep looking up. And some of you have done this with me before. You've never done it outside of these spots. Oh, I just called some people out. As cool as this is, I'm showing you how great this is in my talk. And it will start to make sense in your head. Like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I should do this more often. Common sense is seldom common practice. Practice this shit. I don't say shit often, but when I do, I mean it. Practice this stuff. 45-degree angle, keep it up. Keep the smirk. Oh, volcano in Hawaii, I'll be right there. I got this. Earthquake in New Zealand, I'll be right there. I got this. Keep it going, keep the smirk going. I'm doing it longer this time because some of you guys need to remember how awesome this is so you do it more often. 10 more seconds, keep it going. Tape flopping behind your back. How are you starting to feel? Confident, certain, like I've got this. Right? So some of you guys know the stats on this. When you hold this for 2 minutes, Harvard found when you hold this for 2 minutes, it increases your testosterone by 20%. And that's a drive chemical. And again, just ladies in the room, you don't have to be afraid. I'm going to make you more manly. You're not going to be like, hi, I'm Susan, nice to meet you. Stand like this 2 minutes later, hi, I'm Susan. Can I sell you some knives? Okay? It's just going to increase your drive. I'm not going to make you more manly. All right? 20% testosterone raise, 25% cortisol drop. Cortisol is stress hormone. So it lowers your stress and increases your drive. You're 33% more likely to take on a risk. 33% more likely to take on the risk. Let me do something I don't know if I've done with most of you. Now hold this state right here, this certain state, and regardless of your beliefs, just play along with this next part. Regardless of your beliefs, I just want you to imagine, go back to certain Superman. I want you to imagine, without you doing it, without you pushing it, I want you to feel, notice, imagine. I want you to imagine that God ties those fishing lines to your chest. And without you pushing up, I want you to feel God lift your chest. Subtle. Feeling with you. Not doing it. Feel that slight lift, regardless of your beliefs. Feel like there's something there. Something guiding. Something looking out. Feel how much certainty you feel. Pride is the path to anxiety and stress. Really is the path. All you know about you, all of you know who you think it is that's the path to anxiety and stress. Realize it's not all that, it's all something greater. That's humility. That's like this. It's always there. Quickly, quietly grab a seat. Grab a seat. So that's physiology. Let's look at focus. Number 2 that determines state is focus. Focus. Are you going to focus more on what you want and why you want it? We're going to talk more about that in a little bit. Focus more on what you want and why you want it. What you focus on, you feel. What you focus on, you get more of. What you focus on, you feel. What you focus, you get more of. So, for example, you feel your feet touching the ground right now. Your feet are touching the ground the whole time. You're not feeling your feet touching the ground until we start focusing on it. Be aware of that. Number 3 is language patterns. Language. Language is how we define the meaning of our experiences to ourselves and others. Our language is how we define our meaning of experiences to ourselves and others. Most of us are not aware of the language we're using. Most of us are using very disempowering language. Let me show you an example of this. If someone's not believing enough, what kind of language are they going to use when they're asking for an order? You wouldn't want to buy a set from me, would you? You wouldn't want to buy the homemaker from me, would you? Oh, okay, I didn't think so anyways. You want to try? So we need congruent language as congruent with certainty. We need certain language, not just certain physiology. So we want to use more definitive language. So have you seen this before? A lot of you probably haven't. Let's see here. Dylan, can you try to pick this up for me? All right, I appreciate you picking this up. I didn't ask that. Can you try to pick it up for me? You guys might want to pay attention to this if you're not. I appreciate you picking that up, and I didn't ask that. Can you try to pick it up for me? I appreciate you picking. Oh, I appreciate you lifting it higher. I didn't ask that. Can you try to pick it up for me? Awesome. I appreciate you pulling it towards you. I didn't ask that. Can you try to pick it up for me? Okay, I appreciate you picking it up. We'll stop right there. So I did this with my dad. My dad unfortunately passed last August. Amazing, loving man. And he was also brilliant. He got his PhD in organic chemistry from Harvard. Don't just hand those things out on the streets, right? Brilliant guy. But I went to my dad, and he's confused the crap in my dad too. Everyone gets confused. So I said, Dad, try to pick up the shoe. Picks up the shoe. I said, I appreciate you picking it up, Dad. I didn't ask that. Can you try to pick it up? Picks it up again. Kind of like what we just said, right? I was like, Dad, I appreciate you doing that. I didn't ask that. Can you try to pick it up? And then he puts his hand on it and he goes, and I said, Dad, I appreciate you making a weird grunt noise while you shake it, pretending to see how to lift. I didn't ask that. Can you try to pick it up? And then he like hovers his hand over it, like he can't touch it. I appreciate that too, Dad. I didn't ask that. Can you try to pick it up? And we go back and forth for like 5 minutes because he's really tough. And so finally I said, Dad, there is no try. You either did or you didn't, you do or you don't, or you will or you won't. There is no try. You either did or you didn't, you do or you don't, or you will or you won't. And then he didn't say anything, he didn't acknowledge it, he just walks off. And I'm like, what the heck? What did he not do? What? So then hours later, I'm in my parents' kitchen. He says to my mom, he goes, Sandy, hear that? The clock in the kitchen is working. You want to know why? Why? He goes, the clock in the kitchen is working. I quit trying to fix the damn thing. It gets better. He goes, I've been trying to fix that clock for 8 months. I just fixed it in 5 minutes. I've been trying to fix that clock for 8 months. I just went and fixed it in 5 minutes. And when he said that, my mind went, because then I thought of a quote. I thought, wow, when we stop trying and really start doing, we can turn months into minutes. Yes. When we stop trying and really start doing, we can turn months into minutes because we quit effing around. We quit dabbling. The only time we ever say try, is if we're uncertain of the outcome. You don't say you're going to try to drive to the office today. Right? If you find yourself saying that shit, quit drinking and driving. I should not say that. But You don't say it about things you're certain of the outcome about. You only use try when you're uncertain of the outcome. And you only do that so you can feel certain that even if you don't hit it, at least you can say you tried. That's it. Right? Only use try when you're uncertain of the outcome. And we only do that so we can feel certain that if you don't hit it, we say we're certain that we tried. Here's the biggest problem with that. It creates incongruent energy. Your brain doesn't know what try means. Your brain doesn't know what try means. So when you say, I'm going to try to do this, half of your brain goes, oh, okay, I think we're going to do it. The other half of your brain goes, I don't know about that. I'll show you a very quick example. For some of you, you'll notice very vividly. For some of you, it might not be as noticeable, but we're going to do it for most of the people in here that will feel it noticeable. All right, so I'm going to say, you're going to just simply state this. You're going to say, I'm going to try to stand up. And then go ahead and complete the task. You'll stand up, but just notice energetically how it feels. Okay, so everyone, take a step down. You're just going to say out loud. You're going to say out loud. So you're going to say out loud, I'm going to try to stand up, and then do it, and just notice how it energetically feels. Go for it. Okay, do it. You'll complete the task. So just notice how it feels. Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a seat. Have a seat. For at least 80% of the room, this should be pretty profound. Now I want you to say with absolute certainty, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up. Who noticed the difference? Energetically, who noticed the difference? All right, thank you. Have a seat. Here's why. When you say, I'm going to try, the brain goes, oh, we've stood up before. I'm pretty sure we can do this. But the other part of you said, well, I don't know. Is this something we really want to do? Get that. When you said, I'm going to try to stand up, part of your brain goes, yeah, I'm sure we can do this. We've done it before. But the other part of your brain goes, wait, am I sure this is something I even want to do? And as soon as you create that uncertainty, half of your energy went up. Half your energy goes, I don't know, I think I'd rather stay seated. And notice how you had to fight yourself to stand. When you said I'm going to, all of your energy goes, this is what we're doing. So instead of half going this way, halfway sitting down, all of you said, oh, that's what we want, that's what we're doing. You guys get that? So when you remove try from your vocabulary, you're going to make things 10, 100, maybe even 1,000 times easier to complete energetically. You notice the subtlety in just standing. Imagine what you're doing with your goals. When you say try, does that give you more certainty or less? And you're going to have less potential to take less action, less results. So check this out. Who here knows what they're going after if you push, like the number? Okay, if you don't know the number, then just come up with a number while we're doing this exercise. I want you to say, I'm going to try and then state your goal. So it's going to be something like this. I'm going to try to do 30K for SC2 push, or whatever yours is. Okay? Go ahead and say 1, 2, 3, say it. Notice how that felt. Like the party is like, well, I don't know, maybe we could. The other party is like, oh man, I don't know, good luck. Good luck with that shit, right? Did you notice that feeling? Like, yeah, that'd be nice, but yeah, good luck with that. Now I want you to say, I need to do blank for SC2 push. Go ahead. I need to do Now that's stronger than try, but notice there's like I need to do it. Like I have to. It's more pressure, more anxiety about it, right? Like, oh man, it'd be great. I really need to do it. And if you operate from that neediness, you're going to operate from a place of desperation, not inspiration in your demos. I really need to hit my goal. I really need Miss Jones to buy this set. I really need to make a sale here. I really need to make money. I really need to hit this. Then you're going to be desperate in your demos, and they will never buy as much. That's a deflation of buying atmosphere. So instead of selling from desperation, you want to be selling from inspiration. So now I want you to say, I want. And then your push goal for SE2. Go for it. Now, is your physiology congruent? Some of you are like, oh, I'm tired. It's been a long day. Step up! Get the most out of this. Based on you, not me. Say it again. Now notice that was stronger, way stronger than try, stronger than need, but it's still like, I want it, but we'll see if it happens. You guys felt that energetically?
Yeah.
Now I want you to say, this is where it gets even better. I want you to say, I'm choosing to go after blank for SE2 push. Go for it.
I'm choosing to go after blank.
Say it again.
I'm choosing to go after.
How did that? Whole lot better. Whole lot better. Here's why. Your conscious mind sets the intention. Your unconscious mind sails the course. And most of you have no idea what your intentions are and what you're telling the course to do. Here's another way of thinking this. The conscious mind is the captain of the ship. The conscious mind is the captain of the ship. We're going to that destination. The unconscious mind is the ship and the crew. So when you say, I need to do this, the crew's like, oh shit, oh gosh, where's the sails and where's the rudders? And oh my gosh, we gotta find a way. Ah. When you say, I'll try to do it, the captain's like, yeah, let's try to go that way. Part of the crew's like, are we even on the right boat? When you say, I want to do something, the unconscious mind, I want to go there. The unconscious goes, okay, at least we know we want it. We'll see if we get there. When you say, I'm choosing to do it, the ship and its crew says, sir, yes, sir. Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Let's get us there. Do you get that difference? When you say, I'm choosing to do this, you're taking back your agency. You're taking back your ownership over you and your decisions and your choices. And when you feel like you're controlling your choices more than life, circumstances, and other people and feelings are controlling your choices, you're more motivated. The striatum of the brain is the motivation center of the brain. It lights up the most when you know why you're doing something and when you feel like you have control over your choices. That's what creates motivation in the brain. Striatum, S-T-R-I-A-T-I-A-T. That's what they're. So when you are the one choosing your choices and you're controlling your choices, your brain creates more motivation and you feel stronger about yourself and about your ability to hit your goals, the ability to become who you really are, and the ability to create the lifestyle you want. There's a manager I coach in Louisiana, and he was having to go through a process where he's going to quit drinking. And we went through this decision, we went through this wording. He's like, yeah, I have to quit drinking, or after this, blah, 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 blah. And he said, when we did this exercise, he's like, you know what, I'm choosing to quit drinking. And he's like, you know what, it felt so much more powerful because I'm the one choosing. It's my choice. Not alcohol doesn't control me. Other people do not control me. Peer pressure does not control me. I control me. And how much more capable are you hitting results when you do that? Massively more. Now I want you to say, I'm committed. Go for it.
I'm committed.
I'm committed. All right, we'll do that again. Someone's got lost. 1, 2, 3.
I'm committed.
Say it again, with even more certainty.
I'm committed.
How did that feel? It's not only you choosing it, but you're like, I'm going to do the damn thing. I'm going to do what it takes. You guys get the difference there? This can seem a little subtle, like, oh, it's just words. Michael, your words are creating your worlds. Your words are creating your worlds. Okay? Okay. So let's do this last exercise here. Everyone quickly and quietly stand up. Quickly and quietly stand up. You done this before, but I really wanted to lock it in this time. I wanted to make it that much more apparent. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to put your feet planted together. Feet planted together. All right? You're going to point forward. Again, this is going to be a little silly, but if you do it, you're going to end it with a whoa or what, even if you've done it before. Right hand pointing forward. Right hand pointing forward. Keeping your feet together. You're going to twist to the right, go as far as you can. You'll have to lift your head over your neighbor, or lift your hand over your neighbor's head, and go as far as you can to the right. Clockwise to the right. Clockwise to the right. Keeping your feet planted, go as far as you can. Go as far as you can. All right? Go as far as you can. Yeah, some of you guys need to be more active in your lives. All right, face me again. Face me again. All right, quickly, quietly, you're going to close your eyes. Put your hands down. You're not going to physically do anything. We're just going to imagine this next part, okay? Not physically do anything, just imagine. With your eyes closed. With your eyes closed. I want you to now imagine lifting your hand again. And you're going to imagine going to the right. And this time you're like, I want to see if I can go even further. And this time you go 25% further. And you're like, dang, wow, I'm way more flexible than I thought I was. You feel really good about it. In your mind's eye, you unwind, face forward again. You know, I want to go even further this time. In your mind's eye, you twist to the right again. And this time you go 50% further. And you're like, dang, I'm so flexible. I should be in the Olympics or something. I'm a flexibility king. I'm a flexibility queen. Feel really good about your newfound flexibility. In your mind's eye, you face forward again. You think to yourself, you know what? I want to go one more time. I want to go one more time. I want to see if I can go even further. Even further. So in your mind's eye, you twist to the right again. And this time you go 100% around, like the first one you went to, like an owl. And you're like, what? It's crazy. I'm so flexible. I should teach yoga or something. This is amazing. Feeling amazed by your newfound flexibility. In your mind's eye, you unwind, and it takes you a second because you wrap around twice. Look forward. Open your eyes for real this time. Point forward for real this time. Twist to the right for real this time and see how much further you can go. And everyone in the room should have gone at least 5% further. Most of you went 20% further, right? All right, quickly grab a seat. Quickly grab a seat quietly. Quickly and quietly. Quickly and quietly. Now, everyone at least 5% further, even if you've done that before, right? And then most people went 10 to 20%, right? Why did that happen? I want you to pay close attention to this. Close attention to this, okay, guys? The first time I told you to twist, what did I say specifically? Twist as far as you can. Try and twist as far as you can, right? But key words was twist as far as you can. So your brain, hey Jacob, if you can keep me posted on time, by the way.
Okay.
No idea.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right, so here we go, guys. We started this message late too, so I don't know where we're at. All right, so here we go. Your brain, if you can hear me say, got it, coach. Got it, coach. Your brain reported a past result of you twisting you didn't even know you had. Your brain's like, oh, that's how far we twisted that one time. And then I said, twist as far as you can. So your brain goes, oh, I'm certain this is it. Right? So how do we get you to break through that limiting belief? Because limiting beliefs produce limited results. We got you to focus. Thank you, sir. Just come kick me out. I'm ready. So, limiting beliefs produce limited results. So how do we get through the limiting belief? By getting you to focus on a future result that you wanted. We got you to focus on a future result that you wanted. Because before we did that, the first time you twisted, you're like, let's go as far as I can twist. We chopped that amount of potential. You took that action, which proves that result. Because again, limited beliefs produce the result. So we got you to overcome that by focusing on a vision of result that you wanted and why you wanted it. A vision of a result you want and why you wanted it. A vision. Why do I do that silly twist thing? Why did Andre Agassi pay Tony Robbins $1 million to have him do this? Because in real time, it's like, oh shit, this vision stuff works. And most of you are not creating a vision of the future that you want. Remember, imagination is always in our head. Or excuse me, future is always imagination, and imagination is always in our head. The future is always imagination. We're not God, can't see all the time all at once. We can only see now, here, right now. So imagination, the future is always imagination. Fear is imagination that's controlling us. Faith is imagination we're controlling. And most of us, by default, because we're not controlling our imagination of our future, what are we defaulting to? Fear. What if it goes wrong? Because what if we did this? What if I like, okay, twist as far as you can go. And I'm like, okay, guys, close your eyes. Now imagine twisting to the right again. and halfway through you get a really bad cramp in your back. Oh, it's spasming really bad. Oh my gosh, it's hurting. So, it feels like your ribs are bleeding. Now you fall to the ground in the fetal position crying because it hurts so bad. Okay, open your eyes, twist. You'd be like, screw that. I don't want to hurt my back. And that's how most of us are living life. Because we're not consciously controlling the faithful images in our head. We're not consciously controlling the vision of the future images we want. Because we're not focused on a faithful future, we automatically default to focus on a fearful. Which causes us less certainty, aka belief, less potential, less action, and less results. So you got to focus on a faithful future. Another way of saying this is HQ. HQ. That stands for head, heart, hands. What does that mean? When the head has a vision and your heart has a why, your hands can go anywhere and do anything. When your head has a vision and your heart has a why are you going after that vision? Why does it matter? Why does your push goal matter to you? Why does it matter to your family? Why does it matter to your friends? Why does it matter to those you work with? Why does it matter to your manager? Why does it matter to your customers? You've heard me, some of you have heard the 3 bricklayers, right? If you know what your cathedral is, then what is every brick, every call, every demo? Why are you going after it? When you have a vision in your head and the why in your heart, your hands can go anywhere and do anything. In that order. Good? So Tony got him to focus on the vision of future results he wanted. He also got him to remember past results where he was kicking butt. You got him to remember Wimbledon when he was kicking butt. You got him to associate to when he was doing it. You got him to focus, have a physiology when he was kicking butt again. You got him to focus on images of him winning when he was kicking butt from his past. And you got him to speak about winning again. So he focused on winning from his past. Not the last result that maybe didn't go as well, but some result from his past that did go right, that he could empower him from, that could fuel his belief and certainty, and then you got him focusing on a future result that could empower his belief and his certainty. You guys get that? Okay. Okay. One other thing real quick that I forgot to mention. When you're speaking, something about the vocal cords. Quick tip here: when you're giving a command, a command not like you're commanding your customers to buy, but a command like you're addressing something with certainty. When you're giving a command, you want your tonality to slightly descend. Like, hey, can you do this for me? I need you to do this for me. Right? Notice it's slightly descend. When you're asking a question, you want your tonality to slightly ascend. Like it's no big deal, and you just ask them for the time. Right? So it's like, hey, do you have time? Like notice how no big deal and the slight ascension. Hey, do you have time? If you do that opposite, right? If you give a command, that things to be great for you, Ms. Jones. That creates uncertainty and doubt. So when you're giving a command, slightly descending tone. When you're asking a question, slightly ascending tone. Okay? And again, ask as if it's no big deal with a slightly ascending tone. It's no big deal. Just ask the order. Yeah, would you like to get that set today? Would you like to get that set with the table? No, just think that. Like it's no big deal. Like I'm asking for the time. Hey, do you have the time? You don't say, do you have the time? I must know the time now. If you do that, you're going to freak out your customers. Some of you are a little freaked out right now. Don't worry, I'm not really angry. So another example of how you combine the two. So would you like to do that on a payment plan or just go ahead and pay for it? That's combining the two. Where I'm starting with the ascending tone. So would you like to pay in full, or do you want to just put that on a payment plan? Would you like to pay that in full, or just put it on a payment plan? That's giving them an embedded demand. So it's a slightly ascending tone. Would you like to pay that in full, or just put it on a payment plan? And that's easier for the unconscious mind to receive it. Because remember, your job is to help customers get something that they're going to use every day for the rest of their life and never have to buy it. Your job is to help them get the highest performing product of this kind on the planet when it comes to kitchen cutlery. Your job is to create sentimental generational value for your customers. Or you're going to have these in their families for literally generations to come. Where literally when you're 70 years old, there's families that are going to be using the cutlery they bought from you in this push in 2019. That's your job. So we want to make it as easy for customers to receive the value that we're certain we're giving them. There's a little twist that you can do with the tonality, right? So slightly ascending tone when you ask, and slightly descending tone when you're commanding. So would you like the page for us? Put that on the page. Ascending. And how easy is it to say whichever, right? You guys get that? All right, and then I don't think we have time for this, but we'll put up 2 questions that I'd like you to, if we get interrupted here, I'm gonna have everyone come up here and take a picture of this, because I'd like you to write these questions down. So we talked about first under accuracy, remembering a time from this past where he was kicking butt, right? So what I'm gonna do is have you write this question down. Think back to a moment. Think back to a moment. Think back to a moment, in or out of vector, when you were at your best. Think back to a moment, in or out of vector, when you were at your best. When was a time you felt most accomplished, making the biggest impact, and feeling the most fulfilled? I'm going to repeat from the top. Think back to a moment, in or out of vector, when you were at your best. When was the time you felt most accomplished, making the biggest impact, and feeling the most fulfilled? And maybe if you weren't conscious of it then, maybe if in the moment when you were achieving, you weren't conscious of it then, but you can be now. You reflect now with your new level of consciousness. So think back to a moment, in or out of vector, when you were at your best. When was the time you felt most accomplished, making the biggest impact, and feeling the most fulfilled? At time, you felt yourself come most alive. Why was this moment so meaningful for yourself and others? I did this with the CSP team a couple days ago to elevate our performance even higher. We're already one of the best teams in the nation. To take us to even better. Think back to a moment, in or out of vector, when you were at your best. When was the time you felt most accomplished, making the biggest impact, and feeling the most fulfilled? A time you felt yourself the most alive. Why was this moment so meaningful for you and others? If you've written this down already, or took a picture, or whatever, I'd encourage you to start answering your own answer until we get stopped. I'm also going to be putting this on the wall if you want to take a picture of it later as we're exiting. After you do that, key importance here in terms of sequence. You want to do it in this order. You want to think of that story first. Answer these questions first. Then you're going to answer this next part. But it has to be in this order for you to get the most out of this next part. What were the strengths, skills, abilities, habits, routines? Now, by the way, I use all these words because different words have different meaning to different people. So I have a menu of options here for people to find the words that resonate most with them. What were the strengths, skills, abilities, habits, routines, mindset, beliefs, values, intentions, conversations, etc., that you brought to the moment to help make it possible? What did others bring? We done? I'm just waiting on you guys. I have no idea. So. I'm sorry. I'll wrap this up. Okay, so guys, I'm going to put this up on the wall for you to take a picture later. I'm going to put the other picture up, or the other one on the wall for you to take a picture later as well. I would encourage you to answer this question because that's going to give you some of the answers on how to do that. And the reason why these questions are so valuable is because what we ask, the questions we ask, direct our focus. Questions we ask direct our focus. When we ask bad questions like, why can't I get enough recommendations? Why can't I ever get enough recommendations? The brain goes, oh, that's a crappy question. Let me give you a crappy answer. Because you suck and no one likes you. Oh, thanks, brain. When we ask better questions, like how can I get better at getting recommendations? Who can I learn from that'll help me get better recommendations? The brain goes, oh, good question. Let me give you a good answer. And it'll start looking for solutions. So that's the value of these questions. So let's celebrate. We're not going to get a chance to do that at any other point in this meeting. Let's celebrate with Mike. All right, for those that know why we do this locks in the information. This increases myelin in the brain. So we're going to celebrate. Some of you have no idea what the hell's about to happen. It's okay. We're going to have fun. All right? Pay attention, you guys, because we got